Going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here. So I was scrolling through HiveOS. I seen there's an update, and if we look here, we can see lolminer 1.76 recently released on HiveOS, and it has an IRONFISH improvement of 9 to 11%. Gminer increased up to a 10% hash rate improvement on IRONFISH, as well as Rigelminer improvements on IRONFISH. So we see a whole bunch of improvements happening. We were testing IRONFISH with new miners constantly when IRONFISH first released because there's tweaking done to the stratum, and then all the miners are obviously trying to be the best miner, and they're doing 2-3 updates and betas a day. It was insane. So we let it sit and cool for a little while. I seen this update. It's been a couple weeks, just finally went through. So we're going to test out and see. We're going to put BZMiner in here as well, and we're going to see what is the current best miner for IRONFISH now. Now, if you are unsure on how to even update HiveOS, maybe it's your first time on it, you're new to using it, simply click on the worker that you're in, hit the upgrade or downgrade button, make sure you force the upgrade and reboot after complete, and then hit that upgrade button. It's a pretty simple process. So hopefully I'm going to run through this fairly fast, get some power consumptions at the wall. We'll check out some hash to watt ratios, and by the end of it, we should have a new king for IRONFISH, maybe. Before I begin my testing, I'm going to start with Rigelminer here, but I'm going to be using the same overclocks, obviously, for every miner, so we can compare them exactly the same between them. So we have a core clock offset of 300. I am locking my memory at 810, and I am locking my core at 1305. I find this a lot more efficient than the default that a lot of people are using 1470, and hashrate.no as a medium overclock. They only show a medium overclock is at 1455. So looks like they changed that. I believe this used to say 1470. Regardless, I'm doing 1305, and that's what I've always been testing IRONFISH on, so that's what I'm going to base my numbers off of. Obviously, depending on silicon lottery and everything else, your own tweaking, you will come to different overclock settings. But if we use the same setting across the board, we can see which miner does perform better. All right, so starting off with Rigelminer here, it looks like I have a bug within HiveOS where I am stuck at 1000 megahash or 1 gigahash. So if we SSH in, we can see our hash rate is at 10.32 gigahash, and at the wall we're using about 95 watts of power. Break down my system out of that does use 22 watts when there's no GPU in it, so we are using about 73 watts. All right, now we have lolminer version 1.76. Looks like we're doing about 10.5 gigahash. We got 96 watts at the wall. We are seeing a little bit of spiking happen, nothing major, but at 96, that is 74 watts at the wall with the system taken out. We can see 66 watts here in our software. If we actually look based on our own numbers on our power supply and stuff, efficiencies taken off, we can see that HiveOS is saying 71.74. But this number here is your software number. This is what all softwares will be telling you. And this is the one we always say, never use this number. It's never up to date. So if you have your settings in HiveOS set, this will be pretty close to accurate if you have the proper settings based on the power that you're using and the percentage of the efficiency of the PSU, but we are 74 watts at the wall. All right, so now we are rocking Gminer, and it's looking like we're pulling about 10.55 gigahash at the wall. We are 1 extra watt over lolminer at 97. So take off our system, we're at 75 watts. So I will have a roundup and megahash to watt ratios and everything on a spreadsheet later on. Also, I want to point out with Gminer, I couldn't find the locked core command for the miner. I did eventually just try something and it worked. So if you're unfamiliar what the locked memory, not core, I mean memory, you can see here it's lock_mclock 810. So I am locking my memory here. It is working. I thought I would have had to use an NVIDIA SMI because it wasn't in the README, or I just went over it a few times and missed it, but I couldn't find this specific command. I found everything else just fine in the README, but I couldn't find the lock the memory, and Google was saying a lot of people are looking for it as well. So in Gminer, if you are looking to lock your mem clock, this is the command right here, --lock_mclock space, and then whatever you do want to lock it at. All right, so now we have BZMiner version 15, and it's looking like we're doing 9.548 gigahash. Software is telling us 60 watts here. At the wall, we are about 91 watts. minus our system, we're hanging out at about 69 watts. Now this is saying 9.548 here, but if I go into the miner, it's telling us a bit more. Actually, the pool dropped. It was a little over 10 gigahash at the pool, but it's coming down. So I guess we're going to go here. You can see the pool again is now 10.72 gigahash. That must be based. We're finding a bunch of shares pretty quick based on the hash rate, but the miner is telling us 9.5. So I'm going to have to go with this number here. In order to get the accurate number, you're going to have to let this run for a couple days and get an average at the pool. But right now it's looking like 9.548. All right, and now to wrap everything up, what is the best new king of IRONFISH? So there's two ways to look at it depending on your power price. Overall, most of these are pretty close together, so it doesn't really matter which miner you use. Now, if you have, I guess, cheap power, you don't really care, Gminer is the top miner with the highest hash rate and slightly less efficiency over, or I guess under, Rigel or lolminer. Now, if you have more expensive your power and you're looking for straight up efficiency, lolminer does have the highest of 141.891 mega hash per watt of power used, and that's doing it at 10.5 gigahash. And Rigel here is kind of in the middle between everything, pretty close to the highest of efficiency, slightly less hash rate. It's a nice all-rounded miner, so maybe it'll come down to dev fees and things like that. I'm not sure what all the dev fees for all these are, but the miners are pretty close. Other than BZ, you know, we have to get some accurate numbers here for long-term hash rates. 9.5 gigahash, it's the worst efficiency as well, lowest hash rate, so it's not looking that hot. So we're gonna have to do further testing on that. If you guys have different numbers, let me know down in the comments below. But regardless, here we have it. I'm gonna go with the latest king of IRONFISH. For me, I care about efficiency. That's the only number that I feel is the best thing to use for any type of mining. So I'm going with lolminer 1.76 is the new king of IRONFISH. Thank you for checking out this video, everyone. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.